following is an exclusive presentation of Ravens Productions.
Coming up on this week's edition of Ravens Report, it's Steelers Week. The Ravens face another tough AFC North matchup this week in Pittsburgh. We break down Sunday's game with Orlando Brown Jr. Who knows what Ravens-Steelers games are all about? Plus, we visit Woodlawn High School for Friday Night Lights with Mark Ingram. All of that and more in this week's Ravens Report.
15-10-5, touchdown Ravens. They're dancing in the aisles. Oh, what a scene we have at M&T.
Ravens on 3, 1, 2, 3. Ravens.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's edition of Ravens Report from the Under Armour Performance Center. I'm Erin Hawksworth. The Ravens don't have any time to dwell on the loss to the Browns last week as the team travels to Pittsburgh for another AFC North matchup on Sunday. Head coach John Harbaugh said it best earlier this week. The season is never determined by one game. The Steelers finally earned their first win of the season Monday night against the Bengals, but the Ravens will try to stop any of Pittsburgh's momentum. And this year's Ravens-Steelers matchup will look a little bit different. No Terrell Suggs, no Ben Roethlisberger, plus Lamar Jackson makes his debut in one of the best rivalries in the NFL. To look ahead to this week's matchup, here's Garrett Downing with John Harbaugh.
Well, Coach, it's Pittsburgh week. This one is always an exciting game, a fun atmosphere. What do you tell the young players on this team about what to expect in that game, in that stadium?
Well, I mean, we show some video and things like that so they feel like they've been there before, but you know, I just have to go experience it. It's going to be a football game. The field's still the same length. It's the same width. It's a AFC North game, but it's a rivalry game. There's a lot of history to it, and I think that they're just excited to be a part of it. I think some of these guys want to make their mark, you know, in this rivalry game.
You've played them 25 times since you've been here. 18 of those have been decided by one score, and 13 of those are by 3 points or less. Well, I did my research for this interview. Why is it so close every single time?
I don't know, man. I tell you, we could use a few blowouts in there, you know, some enjoyable fourth quarters, but it's just not like that because I think both teams play similar football. Both teams are very disciplined. Both teams play really hard. Both teams have been built on defense over the years and run game. Those are the kind of games. I don't think the Steelers get blown out too often. We don't get blown out too often. If you look at it historically anyway. But these two teams are very similar. They stand for the same things in a lot of ways, and I don't know, it's just that kind of game.
You know, this rivalry's been ever evolving over time since you've been here and really throughout history. But it feels a little different this week. Guys who have been so iconic in it, they're not playing. Terrell Suggs, Flacco, Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, those are guys who have had big moments in this game. Does it feel a little bit like a new chapter to this whole game?
I don't think about it like that. You know, it might, but for me it's the Steelers and we need to win this game. It's about football, it's about the challenge this week. As coaches and players, that's not what we're thinking about. You know, we're thinking about the X's and O's of the game, the matchups, the calls that have to be made, the strategy that's involved, and so we can win it. You know, that's kind of what we think about. So I think that's a great question for all the fans. You know, does it feel different to the fans? But to the players, I mean, it's a big game, it's an important game against a rival, but more than that, it's an important game for us to try to go win.
On Wednesday, it kind of had a bit of a reunion feel here. Josh Bynes comes back, you re-sign him. Pernell McPhee was on the podium. Ed Reed was in the house, and he talked to the team while he was here. These are three key guys from that Super Bowl team. What can players on this team learn from talking with those guys and listening to them and just watching them work?
Well, always, you know, it's always the wisdom of your forefathers, you know, and respecting your elders, so to speak. And we learn from the people that go before us. We all have mentors and things like that. And I think for the guys, you know, McPhee obviously is here, and Josh is a veteran linebacker, so he'll help the young players. Just a great guy. But to have Ed Reed walk on the field, you know, I know Deshaun Elliott was just overwhelmed. You know, to him it was like just a wow moment, you know, and to hear some wisdom and some wise words, and to know that you know, Ed cares about him and watches him and wants to see him do well. I think that means a lot to the guys.
Yeah, he certainly seemed to kind of catch everyone's attention when he walks on that field. Last one, Coach. Lamar's going to make his first start in Pittsburgh. What have you seen from him as he's preparing for this?
I see the same. You know, he works really hard every week. He's excited, but he's excited every week for every game, and he's looking forward to the experience of it, but he looks forward to every experience. You know, that's kind of how he is. He's had a really good week of practice. He's been sharp. He's been good, and, you know, we'll see what happens.
Excellent, Coach. Well, thank you so much for the time. Good luck on Sunday.
Thanks, Garrett.
This week's game in Pittsburgh will be a rare day game in the Steel City, and the Ravens have played in prime time in Pittsburgh every year since 2013. Still to come on Ravens Report, he grew up watching his dad play the Steelers, and now Orlando Brown Jr. prepares for another Ravens-Steelers matchup. We sit down with the Ravens' right tackle next.
First division game of the year, and the Ravens are playing from behind. It's time for a spark. Jackson will keep it, tries to get around the edge, stiff arms one man, jukes another in the far sideline, and steps out of bounds with a first down. Unbelievable. Empty backfield, Jackson wants to throw, lob to the back of the end zone. Mark Andrews has it, touchdown Ravens! Wide open in the back of the end zone.
Hey, you're good, man. That's a hell of a drive.
20-10-5 touchdown on an 88-yard run.
Being in predicaments like this can only get you stronger, so fully confident in the guys we have in our room.
You just got to go out there and play. You know, mistakes gonna happen. I never seen a person play a perfect game. You know, you just got to go out there, move on to the next play, and do us.
We will never lose confidence in this defense or in this organization. We play Raven football, and that's what we're going to figure out to do, and we're going to get the job done.
Welcome back to Ravens Report, presented by MedStar Health. I'm Erin Hawksworth. The Ravens are obviously disappointed with last week's loss to the Browns, but the team is still tied for first place in the AFC North. Quarterback Lamar Jackson will be a huge factor in the Ravens' success this season, but it's the guys up front who never get enough attention. They are the ones who protect Lamar and open rushing lanes for Mark Ingram and company. One of the largest Ravens, Orlando Brown Jr., grew up watching his dad play the Steelers and knows all about the importance of this rivalry, not to mention how critical a game it is for the Ravens this season. Here's Orlando Brown with Evan Washburn.
So you wanna be a warrior. Warrior! Inside of us there lives and breathes a warrior.
Look, I got to start with the fact that you guys dropped 2 games, and that's never easy, but it's part of the season. It's part of the story of this team as of right now. What's the best way to describe the mindset of this group after the last couple weeks?
Yeah, I think we're excited. I think that ultimately we understand that it's the NFL and, it's week to week. We understand that, there's going to be a different type of urgency, obviously losing 2 games in a row. But we're excited. We're excited for Sunday.
Could you ask for a better opponent in this moment, early in the season, though, to, not that you probably needed it, but to ignite that urgency, you said?
Yeah, Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh, and just like for them, it's just hate week. This is like a very big rivalry. It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a dogfight for 4 quarters.
Their defense has shown through the first few weeks, and especially Monday night against Cincinnati, that they can get after a quarterback. You have to relish, I would imagine, an opportunity to try and quiet what's a defensive front that's been able to sack the quarterback at a pretty alarming rate.
Yeah, no, man. They got a front 5. Those 3 down and those 2 outside backers are, 5 of the best in the NFL and in the world, man. And they've been really productive in everything that they've been doing. We're going to have our hands full.
How do you view this rivalry with regards to your family and your dad and seeing it from so many different angles and now experiencing it as a player?
I remember it was Christmases, that, he'd lose to Pittsburgh and we wouldn't give gifts till, the 26th of December. But, growing up in the rivalry, I always understood, how big of a deal it was to my dad and my family, and now being in it, obviously with, the intensity that goes into the preparation during the week, the intensity of being in Pittsburgh, and driving in and getting out there, warming up and all, you just feel the energy.
The word that keeps coming up when you talk Baltimore and Pittsburgh is physicality. Is it truly up a notch from your normal game in the NFL?
Yeah, definitely. I would say it has more of a playoff-like feel, playing in these games against Pittsburgh, especially at their place. They get it rocking with the Renegade song and all those different things, man. So, You know, it's going to be very intense. It's going to be very physical.
Is it okay to like Renegade? Because
Yeah.
I think it almost, I understand the premise from their side of things, but it seems to almost energize the opponent probably as much as it does the home team.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I don't mind me at all.
It's a banger.
Yeah, no, I like it, man. I like it. You know, it gets the energy going. And, you know, the thing is, if just depending on the type of person you are, if you're able to focus in those type of environments, I like it, man. I like the noise.
Let's talk about your offense and your running game. Mark Ingram comes in this year, proven commodity, and he seems to be playing at a pace even better than maybe he did in New Orleans. What's it like to block for a guy like that?
Oh man, it's a great feeling. You know, obviously, I don't know how many yards he's averaging per carry, but if I had to guess, it'd be over 4.5, man. I mean, every time he gets the ball, he's running hard. You know, he's going to make the first guy miss. He's not getting tackled by arm tackles. You know, man, I love blocking for him. You know, him and Lamar and everything that, you know, G-Row implements, man, it helps us out so much.
You mentioned Lamar. Where have you seen the growth from your perspective? Because you guys get to experience him in that huddle where no one else really gets to see him.
I would definitely say the difference is probably just his approach, you know, throughout the week and, you know, his approach all offseason, man. He's in the system now. He understands it. You know, he knows what he wants to run. You know, he knows who he wants to throw to. He's just very comfortable. You know, he's someone that, you know, just like in college, man, you know, his sophomore year he won the Heisman, and his junior year he got better, and, you know, obviously his first round pick, man, he's going to continuously be productive.
You block for a guy who would move outside the pocket in Baker in college. What does it do for an offensive lineman when you know the guy behind you might be doing something special, but it's outside the box of maybe the play as it was intended?
It's different, you know. Every quarterback is different. You know, with Lamar, a lot of times you really don't know where he's going to be. You know, so I just understand that if I stay locked in and connected with my guy, I'll be able to watch him wherever I need to go. You know, because Lamar is someone, man. He's not just going to go to the left. He's going to go to the left, to the right, down the middle. You know, spin out sometimes, might even juke you. You know, man, he's all over the place sometimes.
Hey, Orlando, enjoy Pittsburgh week. Great to see you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Orlando and the rest of the offensive line will have a tough task of keeping Steelers linebacker TJ Watt and the rest of Pittsburgh's defensive front away from Lamar Jackson. The Steelers combined for 8 sacks on Monday against the Bengals. Coming up next on Ravens Report, running back Mark Ingram went back to high school last week for a little Friday Night Lights at Woodlawn High School in Baltimore.
The Ravens take on the Bengals in a classic AFC North battle. Sunday, October 13th at 1 p.m. Find tickets at BaltimoreRavens.com/tickets.
Welcome back to Ravens Report. I'm Erin Hawksworth. Each week, the Ravens and the Baltimore Sun team up to select a game as the Ravens Rise High School Football Showdown. Over 80 Maryland high schools are included in the voting, and last week's winner was Woodlawn High School. Last Friday, the Warriors of Woodlawn took on Towson High and had a special visit from Ravens running back Mark Ingram.
Just light, bro. Yeah, real light. You feel me? Hey, the red fire though. Hey, y'all boys in that all red, that's cold, bro. That's fire. For real, I appreciate y'all having me out here just to talk to y'all before y'all go into battle, man. I know how these moments is before game time, so I appreciate y'all giving me a little bit of time. I just want to tell y'all boys, you know, go out there, work your butts off, fight for one another, have each other's back. I know y'all coached and got y'all prepared, all y'all done been ready, working. This is the moments you work for, you know what I mean? You putting on for your cities, everybody who love you, your community. Have fun, ball hard, fight for one another, and just go ball, man. And y'all do y'all thing, for sure. Let's break it up, man. Y'all gotta turn it up. Y'all got it, man. Hey, what y'all got? I'm right here with you. I'm right here with you. Call it, Kyle. All in on 3. 1, 2, 3. All in. Ooh, all in on 3. I like that. Yeah, y'all boys eat then. All right. Good luck to y'all, man. For sure, bro.
We're looking to move to 3-1 and, you know, keep preparing and getting ready for the playoff run. We won the Raven Rise Showdown Challenge out of think like 100 and something schools, so it's pretty cool. All of our fans voted for us to win this game, and the Ravens picked us to the game that we played Towson, so it should be a good time. 1-1. We beat them the first year, my first year here. They beat us last year, 14-12, and we're looking for some revenge this year, though.
Check it out. Ooh. No. Tough, huh? Ball coming this way. I mean, high school football was so big for me just because it's a game I grew up playing, a game that I love, and playing for your school, your community, representing people. You just learn more about that brotherhood, learn more about what it takes to be a good person, a good player. You know, I had great coaches who were, helped me be a better man on the field and off the field. I have memories, a lot of great high school games, a lot of great memories. I remember running for like 400 yards and 7 touchdowns. They called a touchdown back and I had like an 8, and I had, so that would have been 500 yards, 8 touchdowns, but they called one back. I remember that. Being new to the area, being able to, come to one of the top high school football games going on in the area. It's awesome, pretty cool, man. Just be able to explore the city and watch some good high school football, man. So, got my son out here at the game, man, so it's all good, man. Go! Oh, you a quarterback, huh?
Check it. You about to get it.
Ooh! The Ravens Rise High School Football Showdown.
Make sure you look for the Ravens Rise High School Football Showdown at a school near you throughout the fall. Ravens Rise allows kids of all ages the opportunity to play like a Raven. Coming up next on Ravens Report, the Ravens' 2018 Walter Payton Man of the Year, Brandon Carr, was back at Glenmount Elementary School on Monday, creating back-to-school boxes for Baltimore City students.
Every scar tells a story. They remind us of where we've been. They remind us of our successes and our struggles. They make us stronger. We endure our scars, take them with us, and learn from them. And in this division, we are unafraid to earn a few more. Moments like these are where we prove our toughness and strengthen together. We know what we can be. And so far, we haven't even scratched the surface.
Induction into the Ravens Ring of Honor represents the highest honor for a career of individual accomplishment that manifests in team success. The Raven personifies that code of excellence.
Last week, the Ravens helped celebrate the NFL's 100th season with the Ravens Fantennial at South Point in Port Covington. Over 30 Ravens legends were in attendance, and the Ravens Ring of Honor inductees received their new custom purple jackets presented by Joseph A. Bank. Jonathan Ogden, Todd Heath, and new Ring of Honor member Brian Billick were all in attendance. It was a great night on the water celebrating Baltimore's football history. For fans interested in learning more about former Ravens, check out John Eisenberg's new podcast, What Happened to That Guy? John talks to former Ravens including Kyle Boller, Jermaine Lewis, and Peter Boulware. Learn more about players' lives after football. What Happened to That Guy is available on iTunes or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Welcome back to Ravens Report. I'm Erin Hawksworth. Brandon Carr's commitment to helping our community is well documented. Brandon was the Ravens nominee for the 2018 Walter Payton Man of the Year, and he's right back in the Baltimore community this season looking to make a difference. On Monday, Brandon once again returned to Glenmount Elementary School to promote the importance of reading as a strong education to students.
You look like, is it me?
You want to see what's inside this lit box? Yeah. All right. Are you my lit buddies? Yeah. Can we get lit? Yeah. Can we get lit? Yeah. Okay. Let's get lit then.
Oh my goodness. I read this book when I was 2 years old.
What kind of name is that? Captain Underpants. Today, the Car Cares Foundation popped up on these 2nd graders and 8th graders with a pleasant surprise of lit box, lit buddies. So that's the biggest reason why you have these books. So your minds can explore and you can go outside this planet, outside this world, and you can be whoever you want to be, okay? We put 2 books in there, notebook, pencil, and a little knapsack to carry on their backs. So just trying to encourage them to continue to read. You know, before I even picked up a football or a basketball, tied a shoelace or a cleat, my parents were harping on just being in the books and having my academics right. What's more important, being smart or being good in football? Being smart, thank you, right?
With the students, he's a friendly face. He's family. So when they see him, you know it's not just a, hey, Mr. Carr, it's Brandon Carr is here.
So look, these are the words we gotta find. Diaper, toilet, giggle, bubble, like all those, right? Stink, stinky, all right. All right, so stinky, huh?
Those kids really look up to him, being an educated male figure as well as reaching the pinnacle of football status. You put those 2 and 2 together and it's a perfect match.
You are so welcome. Thank you.
Over the last 22 regular season meetings between Baltimore and Pittsburgh since 2008, 17 have been decided by 1 score. Unreal. This will be Lamar Jackson's first game as the starting QB for the Ravens at Heinz Field. And Jackson's 109.4 rating is also the best ever by a Ravens QB through the first 4 weeks of a season. His 10 passing touchdowns are tied for the NFL's most entering Week 5. So this is a huge game this weekend in Pittsburgh before returning home for another AFC North contest next week. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week on Ravens Report.